I can't help but stare at him as I slowly shake my head from side to side. Duel Hieronymous? How could I duel Hieronymous? I can't, I say as I shake my head. We're supposed to be a team. We support each other. We don't fight each other, even for play. Tell me your reservations, Hieronymous says smoothly, as if he anticipated my concern. Well, for starters, I begin, you're much stronger than me. And I know you'll say that you'll hold back, but what if something goes wrong? What if I get hurt and it's somehow enough to break your oath to protect me? Then we'll both lose our magic, and there's still so much I haven't learned about it yet. Hieronymous shakes his head in confusion. We won't lose our magic, Tori. If such a situation that you described were to occur, only I would. Which it won't. No, I mean, I can't help but blush. I can't look at him. I don't even think I can say it. What? Hieronymous presses. Tori, what is it? I meant we, I tell him gently. Because if something happened to you, I don't think that I could deal with not having you in my life anymore. I dare to sneak a peek at Hieronymous, and he is sitting there looking absolutely stunned. I quickly look away again. If something happened to Hieronymous and he lost his magic, he would be sent out into the world to continue life as a normal person. From there, I'd either have to move on myself or ask to have my memories of magic wiped right along with him so we could still spend the rest of our lives together, if they would allow it. Would he do that for me? If I lost my magic and had to go back into society, would he give up his magic to spend the rest of his life with me? I don't want you to ever say that again, Hieronymous says quietly. Is that understood? Yes, sir, I say quietly as I dip my eyes down. Hieronymous slips a finger underneath my chin as he plants a chaste kiss against my lips. I have an idea, he says gently. Close your eyes. I do, and when I open them again, I'm suddenly standing in the middle of a large white room. At least, I think it's a room. I don't see any walls around us. Where are we? In your mind, Hieronymous says as he taps my temple with one outstretched finger. You can't worry that I'm going to hurt you if you're not physically casting any spells. Sorry, it's hard to be focused when you seem so intent on hurting me, I tease him. I'm not going to hurt you, Hieronymous says as he shakes his head. I'm teaching you to have more confidence in yourself. As your husband, this is my duty. Duty, schmoody, I reply childishly as Hieronymous rolls his eyes. You're looking forward to this, I can tell. I'm looking forward to you proving to me that you can do this so I don't have to worry about you making a fool of yourself in a classroom, Hieronymous replies, goading me on. You are married to me, after all. What will students say if you aren't an expert dueler? He knows how to get to me. Of course, he didn't want me to make a fool of myself, but it was more than that. He wanted to know that I wouldn't lose my nerve in a class full of students. If I could duel him now and be okay with it, he wouldn't have to worry about me freaking out in class. And if there was one thing I wanted more than anything, was for Hieronymous not to worry about me a second more than he had to. Okay, let's do this, I say at last. How do we start this? First, we bow to each other, Hieronymous says. I bow, but I don't take my eyes off of him. He doesn't take his eyes off me either. Good girl. First rule is to never take your eyes off your opponent, even when you bow. Duly noted, I reply. And now we begin? Hieronymous nods, smirking slightly. Begin. Ready when you are, I tell him. He stares at me, and I stare right back. I wasn't going to make the first move. Hieronymous had already advised me that defense was sometimes the best offense, and I had no intention of physically attacking him, if I could help it. My mana pool is larger than yours is, Hieronymous says. If you want to outlast your opponent through a defensive strategy, you might need to attack first. But if I don't attack at all, I don't need to waste my mana, I remind him. It's okay. I'm a patient person. Hieronymous smirks at me. The longer you wait, the longer you run the risk of dropping your guard and opening yourself up to an attack. The same goes for you, though, I remind him. Hieronymous frowns as he realizes that I'm most definitely not going to be the one to attack first. He holds up his hand and I quickly cast Disruption to watch it fizzle out in his fingertips. It's pure blue magic, and I can see Hieronymous smirk at me. He is about to cast another spell, a blast spell, by the looks of it, but as I quickly move to get out of the way, he suddenly raises his other hand and I stumble and fall to the ground. I quickly use Diagnose to figure out what happened to me and realize that he had used Stagger on me, overwhelming me with dizziness. I wrinkle up my nose. Hieronymous casts something else on me, and I quickly put a shield around myself for protection, since I can't exactly tell where the attack is coming from. He casts attack after attack, and I can tell he's waiting for me to do something to fight back. His magic is much stronger than mine, and my mana shield will run down long before his will. But then again, wasn't it also possible he was using a spell to figure out my next move? If that was the case, then it wouldn't matter what I did next. He'd already be preparing for it. Unless... I suddenly teleport behind him and use Blind to make him unable to see. He lets out a small grunt, and I can tell that it worked. Without waiting, I quickly use Drain Magic to sap some of Hieronymous's mana and add it to my own before I cast Poison while he works to undo my Blind spell. Tori... He grunts as he drops to one knee in pain, and I use a quick push spell, to knock him over onto his side without hurting him. Do you yield? I ask softly, not knowing what else to say. Yield, Hieronymous says, and, as if on cue, the simulation stops and we're suddenly back in his room. It suddenly feels awkward, and I can't think of what to say. You let me win, I venture after a moment, grinning widely at him to hopefully erase any tension between us. No fair. I didn't expect you to incapacitate my vision, Hieronymous says with a shake of his head. His expression is somber, but he doesn't look altogether displeased. I kept casting spells, hoping he would use Reflection to try to turn them back against me. I paused for a moment. That was true. Reflection was also strong blue magic. Instead, I had used mostly a mixture of green and black magic in order to create a foreign substance in his body and then have it destroy him from the inside out. Did I duel wrong? I asked him after a moment. I didn't do what you wanted. No, you did what I didn't expect, Hieronymous replies, grinning to himself. And that is how you outmaneuver your opponent. Keep in mind, though, Tori, that spells like poison may take a while to have an effect on your opponent if you don't make your spell strong enough. Sickness can also work as long as you subject them to an ailment that would incapacitate them. I didn't like seeing you in pain, I say after a moment. I could have gone all out and used blast or something, but I didn't. Because you showed control, Hieronymous says, smiling at me in earnest now. See, it appears you can control your magic, even when you're being threatened. But you don't threaten me, I tease him, although Professor Grabiner might. If he was here, we might have really been trading blows. Hieronymous laughs as he shakes his head. We're the same person, Tori. Not really, though, I insist. Hieronymous is you, and you're Hieronymous all the time, but Professor Grabiner is the guise that you put on to scare students straight, or the part of you that comes out when you're really, really angry. Yes, well, Hieronymous says as he adjusts his collar, you won't have me as a professor any longer, so you can put your fears of seeing him again to rest. Aw, that's a shame, I say teasingly. And there were so many important things he taught me to. Oh, Hieronymous arches a quizzical brow. Do tell. It's something I realized while I was writing in my diary the other day. He taught me that you should never be so kind that you forget to be clever, but then again, you should never be so clever that you also forget to be kind. Hieronymus seems to muse over this for a moment. That's incredibly insightful, Tori. Sometimes I do forget how much your maturity astounds me. Yeah, well, I shrug idly. I just want to make you proud of me. I am proud of you, Hieronymus says as he leans forward and kisses me gently. All the time.